Hey y'all, Linda is has started a collaboration on things that we've canned that we like and what we won't can again. And involved in this collaboration is Mandy at More to Life, Lisa at Sutton Days, Christina at Wilhelm's Kitchen, and Heather at the Needy Homesteader. So I thought I would pull out some of my items and go over things that my family or my husband and I really like and enjoy, and I'll continue to do again, and things that have not worked out so well for us. So let's start out with our favorites. I have to say at the top of the list for us is probably asparagus. I did 10 pounds of this spring, and I'm already down to our last 3 jars. It just doesn't seem to stay in stock. We eat at least a can of this, a jar of this a week. So I probably really need to do some more. I'm just kind of hesitant to buy asparagus this time of year because it's really not in season. So that's one of our favorites. And there's a number of things that I don't have on the table with me. Green beans, purple whole peas, butter beans. Those are 3 staples that will always be in our extended pantry. Another thing is, for me, peaches. Home canned peaches. I actually opened a can of peach halves that I'd had in my pantry for a while and thought I really need to use these up and get them out of the way. They were absolutely disgusting. I ended up feeding them to my dogs. I could tell they were a commercial brand that had been in a metal can, and I've gotten so used to eating my own home canned peaches that I can tell the difference now, and I'm spoiled. I won't buy any more. So peaches will always be on my shelf. Well, we got peaches out. Peach butter. I actually made this last year, and it's starting to darken up just a little bit. They don't hold their color very well for very long, so they usually, peach butter or peach jellies tend to need to be eaten within a year's time. So, but this is one of my favorites. I'm the only one here eating it, but this is like sunshine in a jar. This recipe came out of the Ball Blue Book. I just left out any of the seasoning, so it's pretty much, it's just peaches and sugar, and that's the way I like it. So, let's see what else. I don't have any spaghetti sauce on the table, but that's another favorite of ours. My husband has even learned to tell the difference if I use a commercial brand compared to one that I've put up. And when he tells it can tell a difference, then I know it's, there's a big distinction there. So he's asked that I try to keep that in stock. And it's not so easy because that's another thing we eat quite a bit of is spaghetti, or use the spaghetti sauce. Alright, what else have we got? My chocolate strawberry sauce or chocolate raspberry sauce, either one of those. The recipe for that is in the, I just happen to have this book here. This book. I made raspberry the first time I ever made this chocolate sauce, and this year I made strawberry. I have a video up of that if you're interested in how to do it. But this stuff is awesome on, if you have plain cheesecake and want to dress it up, one of these chocolate sauces is to die for on cheesecake. It's also good on ice cream. And I'm sure you can find another, even a chocolate cake, just to pour some of this over it, or any kind of cake. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's see, we got Fireball cherries. Another recipe out of the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving under spirited cherries. I used the Fireball cinnamon whiskey in this. I did my first batch last year and used it in a dump cobbler that I have at the end of another video. It was one of the collaboration videos for a dinner, I think. Oh no, it was a challenge video, another challenge video, pantry challenge video. This year, instead of 1 tablespoon of Fireball cinnamon whiskey, I used 2 in there. Love these. We'll continue to keep these on my shelf. Okay, we've got our sweet pickle relish and sweet relish. The sweet relish, if you look up sweet pickle relish or sweet relish, you're going to find recipes online on YouTube. They all are going to have some cucumber, but bell pepper and onions in them. So that's where this comes in. The regular just sweet pickle relish, which I found in a pickling cookbook. I have a video up on making both of these. If you buy commercial brand store-bought pickle relish, you're going to find it doesn't have onions in it. It has some bell pepper in it, just a few little red flakes. That's the red you see periodically throughout the jar of that. But for the most part, it's cucumbers and sugar, or in their case, the high fructose corn syrup, which yuck. So I was real happy to find that recipe and make my own, and I've used this in tuna salad and potato salad, and I'll be making my own from now on. So on this sweet relish, though, I enjoy the bell peppers and onions myself. I like to serve this up with my purple whole peas. I'm sure it'd be good on some other stuff, but that's the way I like to eat it. So that's a keeper in our pantry. Let's see. There's another jar of something that I don't have on the table called Amaretto Peach Conserve that I made a few years ago, and it was also a wonderful topping on ice cream. It was a little thin to be used on cakes. It probably would be fine on a cheesecake, but wonderful flavor, very good. I will make that again in the future. Pie fillings. This is my strawberry peach pie filling. I discovered that I liked strawberry peach pie filling purely by accident when I was making some peach jams a couple of years ago. I had a couple of peaches left over, and I had strawberries that I had planned on making a strawberry pie with anyway, and I thought, well, I'll just mix them together. I like both fruits, and now it is one of my favorite pies. So I was delighted to find a recipe on canninghomemade.com where somebody had figured out how much sugar and clear gel and everything to make and can it as a pie filling. So yeah, one of my favorites now. This was a new one this year that I did. This is the lemon honey jelly, and I actually opened a jar of that this morning. We're getting, the fall changes and sinuses are giving us little fits. Start to feel some scratchy throats in the morning. I put this in my tea, and that's the best lemon. That's the best lemon and honey tea concoction I've ever had. So when I made this, I knew right away I liked it just upon first taste. As I said, I have a video on this, and as I said in the video, as I was cleaning up the aftermath of canning this, I was doing a good rendition of Winnie the Pooh in a honey jar, trying to clean the pot out with just licking the spoon and the finger and off, getting it out of the pan. Wonderful, wonderful jelly. Highly recommend it, and be good on other things other than tea. Steak and potato soup. This is another purely by accident discovered. I tried this as a crock pot recipe, and it was just kind of meh. It was okay, but we had so much left over I wasn't going to throw it away, so I ended up putting it in the freezer and pulled it out later on in the winter, and we liked it. It tasted even better. So I decided if it tastes better after sitting for a while in the freezer, how much better is it going to taste when I can it? So yeah, I canned some of that up. I plan on doing a video of this sometime in the future when I need some more. And that's another thing, when it comes to soups, my husband's not a big fan of soups. He wants the meat and potatoes in front of him, but loves steak, loves potatoes, it has that in there. But for him to be eating it and look up at me and tell me, you can make this again, definitely goes on my list of favorites. So yeah, we'll be doing more of that in the future, because I can also take some to my mom. I'm going to do bigger jars of it though, because the pints, I have to dump 2 pints for it to be enough for the 2 of us, because he eats a lot more than me. Alright, let me make sure I've got everything. Green beans, peaches, spaghetti sauce, asparagus. Oh, strawberry margarita jam. That's another one I don't have any more of. We've eaten all of it. Very good jam. I definitely make that again in the future. I like the twinge of lime that's in there, and then you get the little bite of tequila every so often. So it's a really good jam, and I don't remember where I got the recipe from on that. Somewhere online, and next time I make it, I'll make a video of it. So, okay, so on to the items that I will not can again. I'm gonna start off with a bunch of these I don't have because I don't have them anymore. Right now, I'm kind of on the fence about the pickled onions. It's not that they taste bad, especially the ones with the garlic in them. I like the taste of those. It's the texture for me. I have to say that putting them in the refrigerator greatly improved them. So that may be the thing to that, but I don't know that I'll go to the effort. I've done pickled onions in 3 different type brines. The first time I did them, I used the bruschetta brine after I had some left over after making bruschetta. Those were absolutely disgusting, and I ended up throwing them all away. So it works well. That brine works well with the tomatoes. Just did not work for me with the onions. So on the fence and kind of leaning towards probably not. I'll probably stick with refrigerator pickle onions on that. The next on my list, fuzzy navel jam. This is not it, but it's a peach jam with the peach schnapps in it, kind of like the fuzzy navel, the drink. I just wasn't overly impressed with it and didn't like it enough to make it again. So that's one. Another peach jam that I did was called a blushing peach jam, which I believe both that and the fuzzy navel jam recipe were on canninghomemade.com, which I'll put a link to that site below. A lot of the recipes she gets out of the Ball canning books and just tweaks them a bit. Some are just word for word the same recipe. But on the blushing peach jam, it was peaches and raspberries, and it was supposed to be this really pretty pink color. Mine kind of just turned out a dingy brown, so I don't know what went wrong there. And it was again one of those just not worth making again. So, okay, here I've got apples, just plain old apples, not apple pie filling, just apples. And I got into a situation where my neighbor, who actually got me started canning, wanted to put up some apples, and she wanted to go in together and do the work and, you know, split the cost, and that's fine. We did 2 bushels. I'm still eating on these things, trying to get rid of them. So they're too soft and mushy. Anytime I've tried to do a cobbler or pie out of them, it just basically turns to applesauce. So the only thing I've been able to do with them is make stewed apples for a side with dinner, like if we have pork or poultry. They're fine for that. And then what we don't eat, I just take a masher and go ahead and finish mashing up what's left and have chunky applesauce for the rest of the week. I also have an apple pie bread recipe that I like to make with them, but I won't do that grand scale of anything, I don't think, again, because we can't eat it fast enough. Just plain apples, no. I will make applesauce, I will make apple pie filling, but I won't just do plain apples again because they're just, you know, it was too much and didn't like it. Let's see. Pecan syrup. I do not have any more of that. I used it all up or gave it all away. It came out of, I believe, out of the Complete Book of Home Preserving. I'm real leery now of recipes that call for corn syrup in them. And it wasn't bad. It was just thick, and it was too thick. For me, I want a syrup a little more easy to pour. I had to heat it up to pour it on anything, and it just wasn't worth the trouble. This is the Bush's Clone BBQ Beans, again, from canninghomemade.com website. I followed the recipe to the letter. Some of the beans did not get tender. I mean, even after being pressure canned, they still a little on the hard side. And also, it was too sweet. I mean, it has sorghum in it, it has maple syrup, and brown sugar. you know, we like a sweet barbecue bean, but this was just sickly sweet. So my dogs have been enjoying these. So I've only got, I think I've got 3 more jars left. I'll crack one open every once in a while, and I can eat a couple of spoonfuls before I'm just like, ugh. Okay, no, so never again. I'm going to have to find another barbecue bean recipe. I think this is last on my list. Yep, okay. This is the cinnamon pickles. I have a video on this. They taste wonderful. I really like them, but my mom and I are the only ones who will eat them. Husband won't even try them. He likes cinnamon, the red hot candies, and he likes cucumbers, but he's just not willing to try them together. And the only reason why I probably won't ever make these again is because they're so labor intense, and it's such a long process. It took 5 days. You know, having to soak them in the lime solution and then rinse them all off and then make up the syrup and let them soak in the syrup and drain the syrup and re-soak them in the syrup and drain the syrup and heat it back up. And yeah, pretty labor intense recipe. This is, you got to be pretty dedicated and really, really like these things to want to make them again. So these are kind of a, probably not. So anyway, okay. Those are our favorites, and I'll be canning those again, and our so far least favorites that I won't be canning again. I want to thank Linda and the ladies for starting this collaboration. I've really enjoyed watching other people's videos, and I've started to subbing to some new channels from some people I didn't know about. And I wish I had time to watch everybody all the time. It gets a little difficult sometimes, as I'm sure many of you know. But I have learned a good deal. I've learned that I will not be canning kielbasa sausage. According to several people who have talked about it. And oh, I did forget one of my not favorites, and and several people have mentioned that, and that is squash. Again, it becomes so soft and mushy, it just really isn't worth the time and the effort to put into it. It's good for squash casserole, and I ended up using mine up in squash fritters. Which we would eat. So, but my husband does not like squash casserole, so that was out. Okay, but anyway, knew I was forgetting something in there. But thank you, Linda and Mandy and Christina and Lisa and Heather for putting this collaboration all together and inviting others to participate in it. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Happy canning.